Hey everybody, welcome back to Dan's Fair as well as SphereRealEstate.com. I told you guys I'm doing a book review, monthly book reviews. So my New Year's resolution for 2015 was to read a book a month and do a video book review about it. Well, I'm more like doing 2 a month now. So it's April now. I'm already started my 7th or 8th book actually. But this book review is going to be about this bad boy here. How Adam Smith Can Change Your Life by Russ Roberts. Russ Roberts is an economist. He's on Twitter. His Twitter handle is @EconTalker. He's a professor at Stanford. He's got an awesome podcast, which I just started listening to, called the Econ Talk. And this book's all about human nature and happiness. And it really focuses on Adam Smith, the famous guy who wrote The Wealth of Nations, and who really helped shape like global economic thinking and reasoning with The Wealth of Nations. And in fact, we still talk about that to this day, following Smith's philosophy of letting the market kind of correct itself, laissez-faire, or Keynes's approach to have government intervention on the markets to control the markets. I mean, Adam Smith is extremely influential, and it's mostly because of the Wealth of Nations book. But what most people don't know, economists included, is that his other book, The Theory of Moral Sentiments, which he wrote actually before The Wealth of Nations, and he revised it numerous times after The Wealth of Nations came out, is really what Russ Roberts thinks is his finest work. And it's all about human nature, happiness. So basically, the premise of the book is we as humans have 2 things that we are concerned with at all times: to be loved and to be lovely. And this book shows you how to be loved by people, and then how to be lovely, meaning how do we get people to love us in return. The Wealth of Nations, just as a side note here, The Wealth of Nations is about people's interactions, countries' interactions on a global scale. The Theory of Moral Sentiments is how we interact with people in our everyday life, locally, like your friends, your family, your spouse, your kids, your customers if you run a business, the person selling you something at the grocery store, the person calling you up, the telemarketer, strangers or friends or people we deal with all the time. That's what the Theory of Moral Sentiments is about. And one of the things I took away from this is the fact that Smith believes we all should act as if we have a personal, invisible spectator watching us at every time, because that's how we can truly step outside of ourselves and take a look at ourselves and our actions that we're doing at that time. So if you come across a difficult situation and you're in a little bit of a moral dilemma, just pretend like you have an invisible spectator watching, or you pretend like you're the invisible spectator watching yourself. Which decision will you make that will cause you to be loved by others and more lovely to other people? That's the fundamental of this book. It also gets into so many other things, like how to make the world a better place, how we fool ourselves all the time, and how we shouldn't fool ourselves. Then he gets into a lot about, does money make us happier? Does celebrity, fame, fortune make us happier? It's a really good book. It's a fast read. It's about 240 pages, but it's a really quick read. I read it like on a plane flight, and it just took me a few days later to finish it. Fast read, one of the most important books I've read, at least this year. I give it a 9 out of 10, highly recommended. And maybe that's just because of where I currently am in my life. I've read tons of business books, but not too many on human nature and happiness. And this is a lot of a psychology book too. So basically, if you don't want to read The Theory of Moral Sentiments, which Russ Roberts says is kind of a boring read, although he recommends everyone should read it, but it's a slow read, you should read this because it basically translates the main ideas of that book into modern language that we can relate to today. He even talks about social networking and things like that, and how Adam Smith's theories can apply to you. But I would have never found out about this book had I not subscribed to one of these quarterly gift boxes curated by Tim Ferriss. So it just goes to show you the value of those curated subscription boxes. I'm thinking of starting my own. I just need to get my follower count up more. Alright, but definitely recommend, do read. 9 out of 10 in my book. Actually, one of the best books I've read in a long time, not just this year. Alright, it's an important book, and again, it might be because I haven't read too many books on psychology. I read Influence before last year, and I always talk about that book in my other videos, my real estate ones or my clinical research ones. This one is right up there with that one as far as getting into the human mind and psychology. So 9 out of 10. How Adam Smith Can Change Your Life by Russ Roberts. Read it. Let me know what you think. Alright, Dan Sfera from dansfera.com and sferarealestate.com.